Up with KREM begins now.
Now on Up with KREM, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is coming back to Spokane to check on the arena's mass vaccination site. We'll tell you his plans for the day and why he's visiting. Plus, Washington counties will be evaluated individually rather than by regions for the first time on Monday.
The vaccine's great, but if these numbers skyrocket, that vaccine is not going to bail us out.
We're checking in on who's likely to stay in phase 3 and who will probably move back to phase 2. And for almost a decade, local activists and even local law enforcement have been pushing for body cameras on police.
It's a benefit to the community, it's a benefit to law enforcement.
Coming up, we're diving into why it took so long to be approved and how it could change our community.
And temps in the 20s this morning, but we're talking warm afternoon ahead. I'll let you know how we get there.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Tim Pham. We do want to get right to breaking news this morning. Prince Philip has died at the age of 99. Here's a live look at Windsor Castle, where Prince Philip peacefully passed away this morning. Philip spent a month in the hospital earlier this year before being released on March 16th to return to Windsor Castle. He was Queen Elizabeth's husband and the longest-serving husband of any British monarch. Philip spent 65 years supporting the Queen, retiring from his public role in 2017. Here is some video of the notice of Prince Philip's death posted outside of Buckingham Palace earlier this morning. The Union flag at the palace is at half-mast, and this is a developing story, and we'll keep you updated here on Up with KREM and on KREM.com. All right, we do want to switch gears to weather now. It is Friday. We want to check in with Jeremy Legoo, and the sun is shining outside now, Jeremy.
Oh, yes, it is. Friday, sun shining, not a cloud in the sky, but it is a little bit chilly early on this morning. Temperatures down in the 20s for us here in Spokane, 28 degrees. You cross the state line and you're back up in the 30s, even right around freezing. So it's chilly, but temperatures are going to rise, and they're going to rise in a big way as we head through the day, and that's thanks to our lack of cloud cover. Sunny skies take us through the afternoon, but then we start to see a cold front move in early Saturday, and that cold front could bring us another round of showers, but it's definitely going to bring us another round of wind. So enjoy today while you can. Temperatures on the rise throughout the day. We go from near freezing this morning to up in the mid and upper 50s later on this afternoon. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful day. We just got to get through this chilly start to the day. So right now, my pro tip, bundle up. This wind, it's chilly.
All right, Jeremy, thanks so much. Our big story this morning, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is visiting the Spokane Arena this afternoon. The last time the governor visited Spokane was a tour of schools in February, checking in on how the return to in-person learning was going for us. So here on the east side of this state, that is something that he checked on then. Meanwhile, Safeway has taken over operations at the arena. It was previously run by Chaz Health. Now, during a press conference on Thursday, the governor mentioned overall trends are looking up for the state, but there has been a bump in the data that may push some counties back to phase 2.
This letting our guard down is really, really dangerous, and we believe it is one of the reasons these numbers are increasing. Well, this is a critical moment, as it has been all year, to remain committed to those non-pharmaceutical interventions. The vaccine's great, but if these numbers skyrocket, that vaccine is not going to bail us out.
The governor was insistent that the decision on whether counties moving back isn't up to him, but rather how the data lines up with the state metrics. Governor Inslee is scheduled to tour the arena's mass vaccination site at 2:45. He also plans to visit Second Harvest at 4 o'clock. Well, today the state will assess which phase of reopening each county should be in. Right now, several counties in our state are at risk of returning to stricter coronavirus restrictions. The counties shaded in blue are seeing too many COVID cases and hospitalizations to stay in phase 3. Now that means the governor could roll those counties back to phase 2, and phase 2 means businesses would have to reduce hours and capacity to 25%. An announcement is scheduled for Monday. Well, Spokane County is in phase 3 and currently meeting metrics, but we're getting dangerously close to sliding back to phase 2. So here's a breakdown of what the criteria is causing us to potentially jump back. Now, there's two main metrics Spokane County has to meet to be able to stay in phase 3, and here's what they are. So number one, we need less than 200 new cases per 100,000 people over the course of 2 weeks. So what does that actually mean? Because it's kind of a mouthful, a lot to take in, but simplified based on our population size, that means that we need less than the total number of cases in the past 2 weeks. From March 24th to April 7th, we had 840 confirmed cases, and the second metric, we need fewer than 5 new hospitalizations per 100,000 people over the course of just 1 week. So the last time we checked, Spokane County was close to going above that new hospitalization number. But the issue with the math, though, is we're not exactly sure what population numbers or date ranges the state will be looking at. So on Thursday, we did speak to the governor about the time frame of cases they will be using, and here's what he had to say.
Well, the numbers will be the most recent complete numbers that are available on Monday. So that's the numbers that will be making the call here. Now, there's incomplete numbers that come in for some period of time. We need to make decisions based on the complete numbers.
Health experts say case numbers directly affects hospitalizations. The health district says the more cases we have, the more likely someone here who has symptoms are severe enough to go to the hospital. Well, next week, everyone 16 and older in Washington will be allowed to get COVID shots, but health leaders say you need to be patient. That's because there likely won't be enough doses available right away. For more information on vaccines in Washington and North Idaho, text the word vaccines to 509-448-2000 and we will send you a link. It's time for your morning rush. More news in less time. Police in York County, South Carolina, are trying to determine why a former Seahawk player shot and killed a doctor along with several family members before taking his own life. Law enforcement believe the former Seahawk was not a patient of Dr. Leslie, but his father, Alonzo, was, and he spoke to a local TV station.
He was a good kid, and I think the football messed him up.
Now, we know that today the sheriff there says there still is no motive. He signed with the Seahawks, though, back in 2014, but was released after continued struggles in training camp. Idaho is currently the only state where hemp is illegal, but on Thursday, the Idaho Senate voted 30-5 in favor of a bill that legalizes industrial hemp. The law would change Idaho code to differentiate industrial hemp from marijuana. Industrial hemp is used in a variety of products from rope to clothing. It has no more than 0.3% of THC, which is the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana. The bill has already passed in the House and now heads to the governor's office. The White House is reversing a Trump-era decision to sell the Federal Archives building in Seattle. There's been a lot of opposition to the sale, even from Washington lawmakers. It would transfer millions of records to other parts of the country, including artifacts from Washington tribes. And that is your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. Still to come this morning on Up with KREM, we sat down with Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich about the recent moves towards getting body cameras on deputies.
Agencies that get body cameras, complaints go down. Use of force goes down.
After the break, we'll hear why the sheriff thinks the body cameras won't be used until next year. And coming up in our next half hour, new state legislature measures are tackling a number of topics, including calling the police without cause, carbon caps, and overtime for farm workers. We'll tell you what you need to know about each issue.